Okay, guys. Okay. Okay. So, welcome to the Witness Without Identity podcast, guys. Um, Today, I want to talk about something that I've seen that has been pressing in my heart for a long time. I had this podcast. I've put out episode, but I wanted to go here to a good studio and really reiterate my message about my channel and my podcast. I do put out clips on my YouTube channel. It's called The Witness Without Identity. But I basically wanna dive into this topic of like um, when I hear Buddhism or all those gurus talking about um, the the how consciousness works, and I listen to them carefully. I truly I truly started to embrace this in my life, but I kind of feel that like when I look at the gurus, it's that they tend like the guru's job is not to dive into the world of politics. You can see that they don't go into that world, and and nobody wants to because it is a very divisive world. The world of politics, in the secular world, all those different world, like so the world is very nasty out there, and I personally believe that, especially going to last year, you see how 2020 was crazy. So, and you see the division that there is in the country, the polarization. It's overwhelming. I I want to. I found that there is a solution that is pretty easy for us to have better conversation so that the nation can heal. You see what happened with the insurrection. You see what happened with the protests, the Black Lives Matter. You see how many, like, it's unbelievable how polarized we are today. And I've heard from my grandparents, they told me that way back, United States was not that polarized. This is something new. How did we get there? So I believe that we are becoming a little bit insane. Like this is starting to look like an asylum. I mean, there were people that really believed that the election was stolen, and so you know what I'm saying. So they totally convinced, and I don't want to dive into much into that, but like I kind of feel like the reason why is because they don't trust the politicians anymore, both on the left and the right. So I believe that I, I'm, I'm looking at every topics, like from the secular world to Meghan Markle to like everything that you can think about. So we don't try to listen carefully. We When we get into a topic that is kind of divisive, what we do, we go back into our identity, and I think that's the worst thing to do. For example, let me explain to you. Let's say I'm a white man and this person is a black person, and let's say we talk about the Black Lives Matter, right? And because I had this discussion with many people, if the person sees himself and while he's discussing the issue, only sees himself as a white man, and me I see myself as a black guy, that's 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 already might create some tension because they might not be able to look at the subject objectively. You know what I'm saying? I think it's better for us to look at the best way you can look at things objectively is not to have an identity. And guess what Buddhism teaches you? It teaches you to detach from your identity. So the stronger, the louder the identity, the louder is going to be the argument, the conversation. It's going to be very loud. There could be fights. Uh, uh, there could be even riots and protests on both sides. So the way the world should go forward is that we should try to be quiet and listen carefully, and do not look at the other being as a black or an Indian or a gay or lesbian or nothing like that. Look at the other being as consciousness, because all of us, we cannot deny that about any of us. We are all conscious. When we say that we are all humans, that is true too. But there's something that is even more powerful than all of us, than that we are all humans. That we are all conscious. We meet in consciousness. So without consciousness, you wouldn't know that you are a white man or a Chinese man or anything. So consciousness is the father. It's not your identity is the father. So a lot of time we make our identity the father. So here I'm gonna go to different topic, guys. I'm gonna show you that how I'm gonna show you the symptom, and you're gonna see how dangerous this is, this symptom of identity, and why in your life you should be able to see that this body that you have, this identity, is really not you. It's not who you are. You are, and you are kind of like a very mysterious being, because think about it. Your thoughts, your ideas, everything that comes in your head, you can see them. You know, you can. So if you can see them, who's seeing those thoughts? Where those thoughts came from? You know what I'm saying? So you go inside yourself and look at that. When you hate or love somebody, you can see the hatred and love emotion. So who's looking at those things? Go where that inner witness is. So I'm trying to like have mankind go to where the witness is, because we all have that witness, and that's where we unite. So guys, I'm gonna dive into a topic here. I think this is a very divisive topic. It's the Meghan Markle topic. It's pretty divisive, it's pretty intense, and I'm asking you guys to bear with me, and because the argument is kind of like it's a little bit intense, and it's not for everybody. But I'm saying to you, I think that God, or whatever it is, the universe, allow us to go into those topics because, I mean, we are brought on earth. We were sent on earth to be able to deal with the difficulty. It's kind of like a training ground. It's basically a training ground where we are training to be quiet, to be calm, and to be composed in the midst of chaos. What happened in 2020? It was crazy, right? The COVID-19. Some people lost their mind, they lost their house, but still be quiet. So that's what I'm saying. So now I'm going to go to the Meghan Markle topic. I'm going to show you a video, and I want you to listen carefully, and we're going to debate one. I'm gonna pause after I hear something. I'm gonna show you the symptom, and then we're gonna go over it. Thank you. Watch the video now. Thank you.
Your reaction to that interview?
Let me give my reaction to you, Piers. Okay, I just your every rant you've just given the last hour. It's honestly, you're such a liar and a disgrace.
Yeah, you're about to do the same thing. I'm giving you the platform.
Okay, so here's a conversation. Right? We started the conversation, and already there's we are hitting the identity, right? We are hurting the identity of the person. You call him a liar, so now that's an identity. This guy's a liar. You see? So now we are targeting the identity and we are attacking identity. When we are there, when somebody calls your name, what do you think he's doing? He's targeting, he's hating your identity. But I'm here to tell you, there's the bigger self of yourself. No one can hate. That's the invisible self. You cannot hate the bigger self, the inner self, the spirit. You cannot hurt it. So here's what's going on, right? I hate to say this. This is gonna sound funny. When I look at those people, it's almost like two losers that they don't know what was going on. Because Piers, she said that about him, right? But now he's getting hurt because if Piers was a mature guy, and he was like more of like a Buddhist, he would be calm. You just call me your name, but that's not my name. He wouldn't care, you know. So what happened in the world is that both people believe in their identity, both the guy that's attacking and the guy that's defending. So that makes the thing worse. So the fight become more intense. It intensified because you totally invested in your identity, you know. So you have to learn to witness without your identity. Witness what somebody is saying, be calm, because anyway, it's almost like you're going to see that when you meditate a lot. You can talk to monks in the desert. They will tell you that this body is not you. They will tell you that specifically. All of them, they will tell you the same thing. This body is not you. So somebody calls you a liar. If this body is not you, why are you getting mad? Okay, so keep going. Let's see.
You talk about the interview. You trash me every time you come on. You trash me every time you come on, which is exactly the thing you accuse me of doing. If you've got something to say about the interview, say it.
Let me finish. You bring out coverage about Meghan and Harry on their wedding day and the engagement, but conveniently forget to show the coverage before they got engaged, between the engagement and the marriage. So you conveniently forget that Prince Harry, November 2016, talked about the racist undertones of the media. You conveniently forget all of that to paint this picture that all was rosy and hunky-dory. Nonsense. And then you are lording over the Queen. Listen, by all means, let's applaud the Queen when she does something right. But when she does something wrong, we need to call her out.
What does she do?
Okay. So I think it's okay to say that. I think Shola here had some sense. I think, like, yes, if you see that the Queen is doing something wrong, yes, you got to call her out. If she doesn't, and I think that's what happened to the Trump presidency. That, I mean, in America, the same thing. Sometimes when Trump did something wrong, nobody wanted to say something bad about him because they identify with that party. It's the same thing that has going on in England now. This is the problem with identity, guys. When you identify with something, when you identify with a Republican or Democrat, when you identify with like black or white, you're not going to be able to understand what the other person is saying. You're going to hide it. It's going to be a blind spot for you. It's very dangerous. It's the worst thing ever. So it's unbelievable. It's kind of like I even see it in my circles where people have kids because it's their kids. They identify with the kids, and if the kids did something wrong, they say, "No, he did not do that. That's not true. That's my kid. He cannot do that." You know what I'm saying? It's like, no. I mean, look at everything like they don't belong to you. It's like it's so amazing. You heard people that they kill people for sneakers. They identify with the sneaker. It does happen. You can go like even further, and people kill for sneakers. People kill for land. They identify the land is Israel or Palestine. So you know what I'm saying? That's my land. I'm a Palestinian. You're Israel. You know what I'm saying? So the crux of the matter is like where the toxic thing is placed is in the identity, and you have to understand that you are not that. So I will encourage people to read more books about Buddhism and read the message of Jesus, because even Jesus, he says the same thing, but he makes it more subtle. What did Jesus say? He said that turn the other cheek. What the hell is that? Why would you turn the other cheek? Let me ask you guys a question. You see, a lot of people, they say, oh, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek. They don't even understand the deepness of what Jesus is saying. Turn the other cheek is basically, you're not this person. It's kind of like you shouldn't like care that somebody smack you. By the way, I'm not telling you to go around and getting smacked by everybody. I'm sorry, guys. Of course not. But I'm saying that you're not going to be intensified and saying that you're not going to have put all your weight into what the hurt that people are saying to you. Or if somebody did you wrong, you're going to forget it the day after. There's another verse in the Bible that says that do not let the sun go down upon your wrath, right? Don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. So that means as the sun is going down, the new day is starting, don't be angry for the thing that happened to you. So you let it go, you know? So it's all about let it go. This life, we can be very successful in this world as a community, as a nation, as a people, if we learn to not identify and we let go of this identity. It's killing us. It's toxic. It's cancer. So here she said something that it is kind of true. The queen, like if she did something wrong, say it. I don't care if you're British. Pills, you're British. We understand. We like the British people. But if she does something wrong, hey, say it. Yes, okay, she did something wrong. It's kind of like Trump. If Trump does something wrong, if he said, yeah, go into the Capitol and do something, we have to be able to say that. But I've seen that the Republicans, they cannot say that. But the Democrat too, they cannot say that, hey, the Black Lives Matter during the protests, if there was a lot of people, things burning, you can say, hey, but it's getting a little bit too violent here. You know, there's a lot of things burning. You can say that, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to go crazy. You can be normal. You can say those kind of things, and it's okay. But we understand that, so here, let's go back to Shola. It's what's going on with her. It's like, okay, so now let's see. She said that to Piers. Let's see if Piers takes it and does the right job and say, you're right, the queen did so. Let's go to Piers now. Go.
Wrong. What did she do wrong?
What did she do wrong?
Let me finish. What kind of grandmother would be so close to her grandson, Harry, but then not use her power and influence as queen to protect them from the racist media coverage?
I find what you're saying about the queen actually disgraceful. I find what you're saying, you're entitled to your opinion, Shola. Sorry, no, I'm allowed to respond to what you've just said.
Is rooted, listen, you might learn something. The royal family as an institution is rooted in colonialism, white supremacy, and racism. The legacy is right there. So you're now surprised that a comment would have been made by several members of the royal family about how dark Archie's skin is.
It's not several members, actually. No, you can't spew lies.
All right. Harry and Meghan.
Are we allowed to engage in any of this?
Let me finish.
Well, you're not stopping.
That Harry and Meghan had the audacity to speak that truth, then you should be at the actual outrage of racism.
Right, okay. Am I allowed to respond to this? Am I allowed to respond yet?
You can respond now.
Okay. I think what you just said about the Queen is disgusting. I think it's unbelievable.
You talk about
Okay, so you see, this is where things go south. This is when you say that things are going south. Piers, either guys, right? Piers, as if he was like a little bit more mature, he shouldn't take it like that. Okay, what did you say that the Queen said that you feel that okay she did not do? Okay, so let me listen to you carefully. But when you start saying words like disgusting, you're making it worse now, and she's gonna take it worse. Now things are gonna get worse. But I do agree that she started on the wrong path. She started it in the wrong thing because now Piers is like Piers is fighting back. But this is where things get worse. Sometime in a discussion, it's okay to be the adult. And I don't know, here, both of those people are not the adult. They're not the adult. They're yelling at each other, and you cannot see the lights at the end of the lights at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so let's keep going, guys.
About the behaviour of a 19.
Am I lying when I said that?
Allow me to say what I'm. Allow me to explain.
And the institution is protecting.
Right, allow me to defend our royal family. Thank you.
You tell me.
Right, if you stop shouting, I'll answer you. You going to stop shouting?
Or after you stop shouting.
Yeah. Let me tell you why I think what you said was disgusting. The Queen is 94 years old, right? Her husband is 99. He's lying in hospital for the 4th week, seriously.
Okay. Piers Morgan brought an important point that is sensitive to him. And Shola made a big mistake here. This is a mistake. You don't say, so what? The person is about to die. He's British. Those are his people. You know what I'm saying? You can understand that. I understand that we are black. I mean, she's black, you know, I understand. But you have to show a little bit of carefulness. A little bit of caring for his thing. But Piers has to show a little bit of caring for your people, for Meghan Markle. Because Meghan Markle said that she came close to commit suicide. So Piers said that it's not true, it's a lie. But how does he know? But I don't know. Piers mysteriously is inside Meghan Markle's mind. He knows that she's lying. But let's not talk about it. But Shola here is saying that like, hey, like, so what? That is a big mistake. I cannot believe she said something like that. You cannot say so what. I mean, the guy is about to die. The way I look at the situation is like the best way to look at it is that it's to calm down. Just calm down. You know, it's not the end of the world. And this topic, and let's keep it real. I hate to say this to people, guys. Who cares about the monarchy? I mean, seriously. I mean, like, it's kind of like those two people. Like, some people cares about Meghan Markle. I never care about none of those people. But because they brought it to me, and I saw the divisiveness, I started to get involved in the monarchy. I started to understand Prince Harry. I never knew Prince Harry. I never knew all those people. But it's interesting that they were able to get into me, and I started to review and read about Meghan Markle and all those things. So this is what happened here. So you see how the thing is getting crazy. And this is the problem. And I understand that some people, they don't want to dive into those hard topics. But how are we going to heal the problem if we don't learn to go where the problem is? You see the situation, right? He said that, let me defend the British people. Let me defend those people. Okay, so go ahead, defend them. And he brought his case. But now, Shola say, hey, so what? You know what I'm saying? It's not good to say that because now he can say so what to Meghan Markle too now. You show that you don't care about him, he's going to show that he doesn't care about you. And that's the worst place to go, you know? So keep going.
You talk about how could... Please, let me speak, Shola.
Everybody, come on, let's just stay calm.
Okay, whenever you're finished.
Recovery. But the reality is, you cannot
Shola, I'd like to finish my sentence, please.
Any omissions or conduct
I would like to finish my sentence.
What your family has done that has perpetuated racism. Okay. You don't cover it up.
Can I please finish my sentence?
You have to be able to call her out when she's done something wrong.
I'm going to finish my sentence now if you stop shouting at me. Here's the finish of my sentence.
Guys.
You talk about the behaviour of a 94-year-old monarch and you say that she should have done more. What about the behaviour of Harry and Meghan, who are spray gunning his family on global television as Philip lies in hospital? You might laugh. I don't think it's funny. I think it's piling hurt on the Queen, who is already suffering greatly from her...
Okay, guys, I'm going to finish with this video. I'm not going to go in the rest of it. The video is dead now. It's basically, I mean, this whole argument is dead, you see? It's not healing. Nothing is healing. It's going south. That's what you call going south. You see, he's saying this, he's saying that, like, and you know what? You see why it's happening? She's a woman of color, and she identified with Meghan Markle. And everything Meghan Markle does is perfect. He's a British man, and he identified with Great Britain and the monarchy. So everything that Great Britain does, there's nothing wrong. You cannot say that there's racism over there. So it's difficult to have to deal with those topics if you totally identify with what you believe that you are. So that's basically where we are, guys. And now, because of this fight, right, more drama is happening all over the world. This is across the world. This is with somebody called name you probably heard of her, Sharon Osbourne. She had an issue where Cheryl Underwood was talking to her and telling her that, hey, she was telling her that, hey, Piers is a racist, and and I hate to say this, for me, I'm gonna show you why I don't think Piers is a racist. I'm gonna tell you what I think. I think Piers is a royalist. Many people say that. I've heard some black people say that. He's not a racist. He's a royalist. You see, when you take your time, you stay quiet. You identify people. You see why they are yelling like that. I know why he's yelling, because you talking shit about his people. You're not allowed to say anything about the monarchy, anything. Piers, before Meghan Markle became a princess, Piers loved Meghan Markle. He was crazy about her. Things started to go south when Meghan Markle said that, no, you can't take pictures of Archie. You cannot do this. And things started to go south a little bit. But Prince Harry also, and this is why I don't like the British press. The British press made a mistake. Meghan Markle is a woman of color, and Prince Harry, I personally feel he's the guy that made this thing funny, because I think he used Meghan Markle to get out of England. I think Prince Harry never wanted to stay in England, even before Meghan Markle. I read the story of Prince Harry. Prince Harry said that being a prince is not all that it's cracked up to be. He said that specifically. This was within 6 years ago. So he doesn't think it's all that. Like, some people think it's all that. Especially, think about this, guys. So I analyzed the story of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle. I took a deep dive in this. And many people tell me, yo, I don't understand Meghan Markle. Why is she complaining? She's a princess. She has 2 houses, many servants. What are they complaining? Just a couple of Twitter account people saying stuff about you, but that comes with the job. But it's a very boring job, guys. You have to stay inside your house, and you cannot use your cell. They took your cellular phones. You cannot have social media. So you're like a princess of the 1800s living in 2021, where 2021 is very exciting. There's social media, there's all kind of things. And you have to work and talk a certain way. Everybody's watching you. You cannot go to the grocery store and buy anything. Everything has to be official. Everything has to be. So I understand Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Those are young people, and they just want to hang out, and they want to be hippies. I think we should have like a modern kind of monarchy that is more like hippie-like, where people can smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be better. I think it's not sustainable, that kind of monarchy. But let's see what's going on. Now I'm gonna go to Sharon Osbourne. You're gonna see how things go south in this debate here. This is Sharon Osbourne and Cheryl Underwood. Let's go.
So many stories, and I want to explain what happened.
I'm not racist, neither is Piers racist.
Walk us through what happened on Wednesday.
Wednesday, I arrived at the studio late. One of our showrunners was going up the stairs. She said, do you want to clear up the Piers thing again? I said, hey, if you want me to, I will. Then at 8 minutes to 11, our showrunner says, how do you feel about maybe one of them doesn't agree with you? And I said, well, that's all right too. Okay, thanks.
Sharon said what unfolded on air felt like a betrayal from her co-host after a pact they made in February.
There was a situation in February. Carrie-Anne was given a question to ask Elaine, and Carrie-Anne didn't want to ask it, but it came from the producers to ask Elaine. And it was, if black people can use the N-word, why can't white people use the N-word?
I would love to hear what you have to say.
Which is a very naive question to ask. We all know why. So Elaine got very upset with her response. Carrie-Anne started to cry. So we agreed we would never be...
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I see this. Is it possible to cut? Is it possible to pause? Sure.